Hello, this is an oxygen tank, and the purpose for this tank is to use as a backup in case your oxygen concentrator has a malfunction or you lose electricity. And you can also use this for portability purposes to go outside your home with oxygen. This particular tank will last you approximately 4 hours on 2 liters per minute. And if you do the math, that would be 8 hours on 1 liter per minute, or 16 hours on half a liter per minute. The same rules apply to this particular oxygen tank as they did to the oxygen concentrator. There's going to be no open heat source allowed within 10 feet of your oxygen tank. No smoking allowed around your oxygen tank. No grease or petroleum jelly products on anything having to do with oxygen, especially this area up here and your regulator. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to put the regulator on the tank. Whenever you get a tank that's been refilled with oxygen in it, it's going to come with some tab on it that looks just like this. So what you have to do is you got to remove the tab. You notice there's 2 holes on this side of the top of the oxygen tank, and then your regulator has what appears to be 2 pins right here. So you're going to line up the 2 pins inside of into the 2 holes. Also, your regulator comes with a washer. Now, if you're changing from one tank to another, it's important to note that this washer is still in place. They have been known to fall out from time to time. If the washer is not there, then you're not going to be able to use your oxygen. It's very important. Make sure your washer is in place. So at this point, what we're going to do is we're going to line up. We're going to line up the 2 holes into the two pins into the 2 holes. Once they're in, you're going to tighten the oxygen tank over here. Make sure that it's nice and snug. And then you're going to take your tank key and you're going to put it on the top here. So what we're going to do now is we're going to open the oxygen by turning this key half a rotation. You don't need to do multiple rotations. Half a rotation is plenty to allow the oxygen to move from here to here. So when we do this, when we open it, the oxygen has now moved up into the regulator, and you have a content indicator gauge right here letting you know how much oxygen is inside the tank. It's important that when you change tanks, you always open the tank up and verify that the tank that you just put in place has oxygen in it. So when it's in the green area, it's full. When it's in the red area, it's empty. Over here is where you're going to dial up your liters per minute, how much oxygen you're supposed to use. And of course, you only want to use the amount of oxygen that's been prescribed to you by your doctor. And depending on the regulator, some regulators will go up to 4 liters per minute. Other regulators will go up as high as 12 to 15 liters per minute. And the respiratory therapist or the technician will always give you the appropriate regulator for whatever your needs happen to be. So once you've finished using your oxygen tank, always turn it off. Okay, so you turn it off by turning it clockwise. Open is counterclockwise. Closed is clockwise. Once you close your tank, it's always not a bad idea to bleed out the oxygen that's left in the regulator, because when you close it, you cut off the oxygen from here to here. And now what you want to do is you just want to bleed out the oxygen that's inside the regulator, because what that does, it leaves pressure on the diaphragm, and then the regulator will probably malfunction a lot sooner than it's supposed to. So once you've opened it up and you've bled all the oxygen out, you'll notice that the content indicator gauge is all the way down in the red. At this point, you can just put it back to 0. And now you're ready to store your oxygen. One thing to know that's very important, you don't want to store this oxygen in a closet that has no ventilation. You want it in an area that has ventilation. If there is a leak with this particular tank and it would saturate the closet with oxygen, then you would have a potential hazard at that point. It's important to have a no smoking sign posted when you're using oxygen in your home. If you're going to use it and you don't have a cart, You got to have it laying down. This particular tank can be a hazard if it's outside of its holder and you have them laying around the house like this. And if we were to fall over, if this were to break in any way, then you would have a serious hazard on your hands. These come full at 2,000 psi, so you would really have a projectile at that point. So always have these laying down when they're not in a holder, like this one here. Something that I didn't go over earlier is where to connect your oxygen cannula to, which is right here. And of course, this is where you determine how much oxygen you're going to receive. At this point, this concludes our instruction on your portable oxygen E-tank. Thank you for watching.